Hello guys, today I'm going to be telling you about a very good story for Muslims. It's the story of Muhammad Al-Fatih, or people call him Sultan Al-Fatih. I bought the first, the second, and the third book. It's a really good comic. The story is good. The it's very good. The drawing is also very good. This is the third book. Right now I'm in Banda Aceh. I forgot to bring the first and the second book. So I'm just gonna tell you the story. The the first book starts with a very calm morning in Turkey. Sultan Murad, the father of Muhammad Al Fatih, is reading Al Quran. The ayah is about conquer. It's about conquering something. Then his last child, his third child, was born. His his name was Muhammad Al Fatih. So Muhammad Al Fatih is the third son in his family. He has two brothers. His first brother Ali and his second brother Ahmed. So and then the story starts when it skipped the story to when Muhammad Al Fatih was already like a toddler or something. He was watching his oh no the guards were looking for him. They thought he was gone, but they were all panicked. And then one guard found him training his bow skills. So when he was young, he made a lot of a lot of guards panic a lot of times. Then the story skipped again to the time when the three of the sons were uh, training. Ahmed and Al Fatih was looking at Ali training his bow skills. They also wanted to be like him. Then that afternoon, uh, Al Fatih saw like a slave. No, not a slave. Uh, he was a worker at he was the yeah he was a worker at the Top Kapisara no at the castle. And but Mehmet Sultan Al Fatih or Mehmet hasn't never seen him before. So he asked him, "Who are you?" And the guard just ran away without saying anything. Sultan Al Fatih chased him, and then he told the guards. So everyone chased him, but then they lost track of him. Then that later that day, they found Ali, Mehmet, Mehmet or Al Fatih's brother, dead. He already died. So they thought he was poisoned or sick, but many of them thought that he was poisoned. So when they were all sad, they made uh, yeah, a lot of things. They were sad, and then uh, after a few days, when Al Fatih was already when he was cheering up from the sadness, his other brother Ahmed and him were training with swords in the Ahmed said to Al Fatih when Ahmed became the leader of the Sultan or the leader of the Turkish, Mehmet has to be the Ghazi, the like right hand man of the Sultan. So when they were just training, a stranger came over the walls of the castle holding a sword, and he battled with Ahmed. They battled for a long time, and then the Ahmed slashed the stranger's face with his sword, and the stranger left. When Al Fatih was saying to his brother, "Wow, you're so cool," then Ahmed fell to the ground and he also died. But Ahmed before he died, Ahmed said he believed that Mehmed was gonna be the one conquering Constantinople and and doing Rasulullah's promise. So then Sultan Murad and Al Fatih was very sad. Al Fatih locked him in his room all day. Like he was so sad. Maybe he was stressed out. Like first there were three, like Sultan Murad first he had three sons, and then it's just one, his younger one. So Mehmet was like super sad in his room, and then his teacher came in. His sheikh came into his room and taught him a lot of things. So then Mehmet thought about it. He has to be strong. So he continues to train every day, read Quran every day, salat, isyalah, and then he did a lot of things. So and then came one day where Sultan Murad said Mehmet is Sultan Murad transferred his ownership to Mehmet. So then they were all of the people thought Sultan Murad was dumb because Mehmet is just a little child. But Sultan Murad didn't care. He made Mehmet the Sultan when he was in a very young age. So right away after that, a lot of people uh, wait, yeah, a lot of people thought that a lot of people outside the Turkish nation thought that Turkey was in a very weak is very weak right now. So like yeah, they thought he was weak. So they attacked him. They attacked Turkey. They wanted to go war with them. So Sultan Al Fatih uh, thought about it, and then he sent a message to Sultan Murad, his father. He said, uh, who is the leader right now?" To his father, he said to his father, "Who is the leader right now? If you're the leader, come here and lead your team. But if I'm the leader, come here to lead my team." Yeah, he said it like that to his father. So then his father accepted it, and then they got to war with yeah the Christ. So then when the war started, everything was like chaos, blood everywhere. Al Fatih was battling with the leader of the Christ of the Christian, and then he, when he almost won, uh, the general of the Christ, John Hunyadi, the Hungarian leader, he battled Mehmet until Mehmet almost lost, and then from behind, Sultan Murad like killed uh, Vladislaus, the leader of the Christ. So John Hunyadi is panic right now. And then when he was starting to get panicked, the camel camel army from Turkey came, and then they scared off the cavalry army, the horse army. So then Turkey won. At the end of that, Sultan Murad tell Mehmet some things, and then they continued their life like always. But then one day, Mehmet and Zaganos, his very good friend, wanted to check out Constantinople. He wanted to go out with no one knowing except for three people: Mehmet, Zaganosh, and Ishak. Ishak is someone who can mimic people's voices. He's a very good mimicker. So then uh, they left Ishak in the castle. So when everyone, that's the plan. If everyone asks where Sultan Mehmet is, he will Ishak Ishak will just mimic uh, Sultan Mehmet's voice and tell them he's busy. While Sultan Mehmet and Zaganosh went to Constantinople to check out the place, they checked it out with snuck into a ship. When they got in there, they Sultan Mehmet read something. He said, "With the power of Allah, they will knock this uh, what's the name, the castle of Constantinople down." So that's the ending of chapter one. At the start of chapter two, they they showed where Sultan Mehmet was getting apa uh, the people of Turkey was getting mad at Sultan Mehmet, especially Halil Pasha, who is the one of the smartest right hand man of his father. So then his father, si Halil Pasha said Mehmet did a very bad decision because he left his nation when he was a sultan and went without any guard. So she thought that was very dangerous. So then they talk and talk, and then finally they they took Sultan Mehmet's uh, title. They give it back to his dad. So Sultan Mehmet went back to Amasya, and his dad led the Turkish army. So he he is a very good leader in Amasya. He led them to a very peaceful and very good life. So then one day, one night when Sultan Mehmet was about to go to sleep in Amasya, he was like writing something on his book. He was, yeah, as always he was learning. And then Sultan Murad came without saying nothing. He came to Mehmet's house, and then Mehmet asked, "Why did you come, father?" And his dad said, she want to he wanted to give Mehmet the something, a key, and Sultan Murad said, "Don't tell this to anyone. This will this is a very useful key." And then Sultan Murad said to Mehmet that she is in a very happy mood. Then he went away. Then the second day, when Sultan Mehmet was just with his citizens as always, a messenger came from Sultan Murad. When Mehmet read it, then something bad happened. It was Sultan Murad's death. He told it to the citizens that Sultan Murad was dead. So then the Halil Pasha commanded him to go to Turkey and yeah, become the Sultan, become the leader of the Turkish army. Then wait, then when he was the leader of the Turkish army, uh, everyone like doubted him. So until one day, all of the Turkish enemies wanted to test him. They went to Turkey and told him to have an alliance. Yeah, he accepted all of it. But then his right hand man, left hand man, and all his friends were asking questions in their head. They were thinking about why is he accepting this alliance. I thought they were going to conquer Cons- Constantinople. So then, Sultan one day when Sultan Mehmed was alone in his room, that room is full with his blueprints and other things and his map. Uh, that was like his private room. And then Zaganos and his other friends went inside there, and then they all asked the same thing. Why did he accept the alliance? And then Sultan Mehmed said, uh, he accept it that they are asking him. That means that they care. They care about the conquering Constantinople, because that was a vow from Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So then, Sultan Mehmed said the reason he accepted all of those alliances is because he wanted their enemies to think that the leader of the Turkish army now is just a little brat who doesn't know anything. So they would not be afraid. So they will think, oh, it's just a little weakling. But then he will attack them when they didn't expect anything. So then uh, he ordered them he ordered his friends to build to collect together the citizens and build a really big castle, so to protect them. So they built it. They built the castle on the sea. They built a really big one, so to prevent the enemies from going into that to their area. Then uh, news like the news are all over the world that Sultan Mehmed and Turkey made a really big castle in just 5 months in the sea. And then um, they were like the Constantinople's leader, the Kaisar. He was really angry that because he thought that the castle Sultan Mehmed made was in his territory, but it's not, because it's outside of his castle or outside of his nation. So then Sultan Mehmed, no, the Constantinople Kaisar sent one of his apprentice or one of his left hand man or right hand man to send a message to Sultan Mehmed. In the message, when he came there, Halil Pasha, Mehmed ordered Halil Pasha to read the message. In the message, Kaisar Constantinople said, "Why? I thought you accepted the alliance. Why are you making a castle in my territory? Uh, are you? Do you want to have a war with us?" And then Mehmet came to the guy who brought the message, and he said to him, "This message is like a little kid who who cries about his toys, but who cries when someone else plays with his toys, but he cannot protect his toys. That's the same thing." And then Mehmet said, uh, he will conquer Constantinople, and then the messenger was was so ashamed of himself. And then the third book, the third book started. This is the third book. This was not the last actually. This was the last of one chapter, chapter of uh, conquering Constantinople. And then in this third book, it all started when Sultan Mehmed was training, as always. He and his friends were planning to attack Constantinople. So Sultan Mehmed, in this chapter, Sultan Mehmed already had a wife and a child. His child was named, wait, what is his name? I forgot. Oh yeah, Bayazid. His child's name was Bayazid, just like his grandfather. Uh, so then he told Bayazid that one day he will become a great sultan also. So then, when Mehmed and the others were planning to conquer the Constantinople, they were making a lot of progress. And then, uh, uh, Sultan Constantinople, and then Sultan Mehmed ordered someone called Hasan to rescue another guy called Orban, Mr. Orban. Mr. Orban was a really smart guy. He can make He's a smart guy. He made a lot of good cannons. So Hassan finally one day Hassan came back to the Turkey place with Mr. Orban. So then they began they began their plan. Mr. Orban made some very good and very big cannons. It was the biggest cannon ever in that time. So then one day they went to Constantinople and they battled there. They battled a lot of time. They shot the giant cannon to the wall, and for the first time in years, in thousands of years, Constantinople's big castle was there was a hole in there. They made a hole, and then the Kaisar of Constantinople said to his slaves, "Build back the rocks." Then they build it back. So then the Turkish army climbed the wall to get in, but the Constantinople people poured down hot things to them. They poured down fire. They poured down hot oil. So all of the Turkish army, all no, not all, like one, like 2/5, wait, 2 out of 5, like yeah, 2 out of 5%. So they died. They died because they were burned. So then the Turkish army went back to the campsite. They were planning other things, and then after a lot of time, they attacked one more time, and then this time they didn't only fire one cannon; they fire a lot of them. But in this second time, they also failed. So then Sultan Mehmed was locked in his tent for a lot of days. He locked himself in there like he was stressed out. His friends were all thinking, why with Sultan Mehmed? And then Zaganosh called Sultan Mehmed's teacher. And then when he came, when Sultan Mehmed's teacher came there, he gave Mehmed some things. He gave Mehmed some prep talk, and then he was fine. He thought about it, and he thought, and now he finally had a brilliant plan. And now, so before the last attack, Mehmed's teacher ordered all the warriors and armies to fast, to be fasting in the day they are conquering, in the day of their last plan. So the plan was, now when they started the plan, in one night they they can use their boats to cross the other side of Constantinople because there was a giant chain holding the slide of Galata, and then they they attacked them. They pulled all 72 ships over a mountain and down back to the other side of the water. It's like they moved 72 boats on top of a mountain. They pulled them and brought them back to the other side of the mountain where there was also sea in there. So the second day, the Constantinople armies look there and they said, "What? Wow! Why are they here? Why? How did they get over that place?" And now the plan is because now Constantinople's power is divided. One is protecting the sea, the seaside, and one is protecting the castle. And now the plan really worked. The castle side army, the Turkish side army is uh, using all of the cannons to one place. So that one place was now there was a really big hole in that place. So all of the Turkish army went inside there and they battled. But then the Kaisar of the Constantinople army came out and challenged Mehmet to a duel. Mehmet told Zakanos, clear the place, don't let anyone disturb him. So Mehmet and Kaisar Constantine battled. Until then, Mehmet stabbed Kaisar Constantine. So he died. And then the Turkish army won. Then they searched the place and then they found the citizens of the Constantinople inside a place where the Christ usually pray. All of the Constantinople people were scared. They thought they were gonna be killed by the Turkish people, but no. Sultan Mehmed said they are free. They can choose whether they want to join Islam or they want to stay Christ. So everyone was very happy because the the Turkish people was actually a very good people to them. So they they celebrated it, and then Sultan Mehmed turned that place into a masjid. He rebuilt the Constantinople, uh, and then he turned the name, the city's name into Istanbul, and then after that it changed, and now it's called Istanbul. And then before the story ended, they were going to pray Jum'ah there for the first time, and then everyone asked, "Who is good enough to be the Jum'ah Imam, the Jum'ah prayer Imam?" Then Sultan Mehmed stand up and told them, "Whoever has abandoned uh, salah, uh, salah that it needs to do, the salah rawatib, then sit down. If you didn't abandon one since you were balik, then don't sit down, stand up." And all of the uh, Turkish army was standing up. None of them sit down. So then, they never abandoned Salah. And then Sultan Mehmed asked, "Who has never abandoned Sunnah Salah and sit down?" A few of them sit down, but still, a few of them are still standing. And then Sultan Mehmed said, "Whoever whoever has abandoned the uh, salah tahajud in the middle of the night, since he was balik, sit down." And then all of them sit down, uh, expect, 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 uh, yeah, everyone sit down except one man. It was Sultan Al Fatih. So Sultan Al Fatih lead the Salah Jum'ah. So that's the end of the story. It was a very good story. You can buy it anywhere. You can buy it at Gramedia, at Shopee, like it's everywhere. So now, see you in the next video.